Hey mate, okay, so I ran through this lap and I mean it's exceptional. It's a really, really great lap. So really, really well done. I mean, you deserve a pat on the back for that one. Don't mind my surroundings here. We're just kind of moving and everything. So it looks like I've got a house made out of cardboard, but we'll keep trucking along. So yeah, really, really good lap. Massively improved over last session. So I mean, you really took what we were talking about to heart, and really, I mean, in all fairness, we're now fundamentally we're doing everything so well that it becomes significantly harder for me to do my job. But I'll do my best here. So we'll run through down into T2, and like you say, I mean, we probably could have used a little bit more entry space for sure. So, as we're jacking the car down and getting it woed up a little bit, we for sure want to just ease it into the apex a little bit more. That's what kind of forces us to get our minimum speed over to here. So as we start to come around and get it rotated, I mean, we do want to clip down here for sure. But in saying that, it's not like we're leaving a second on the table in here. Okay, we did it really, really well. We made it much shallower than we were doing before. So as we come through here, I mean, we maybe compressed ourselves a little bit deep into here, but if we come across the apex just a little bit more, um, for sure that's going to bring our speed more where we want it into the middle corner here. And then from there, from the mid corner, we're going to obviously be able to rotate the car at that point during that compression, right? So we're coming down the hill and we're just trying to compress into the camber as much as possible. So for sure, it just costs us a little bit of time because now we're kind of waiting for it to turn, waiting for it to turn. Here's where we actually get the car to rotate, and then we come out nice. So we definitely improved that. We just want to get it in so that we're constantly increasing our steering angle as we're coming past the first apex, increasing our steering angle, increasing our steering angle. Then we get the car to rotate, and then out we go. So, but really, really well done for the most part. And then I think through turn 3, I think we're really solid. Like, I mean, super, super solid. We, got the car rotated from the outside here. I mean, in all fairness, I personally don't like to use the rumble strip on kind of a turn in like this so much. I mean, if it doesn't really affect the grip level of the car, then great. But what I've found is that it does. Once I'm starting to really load up the car, unless it's one of those completely flat curbs, so maybe running along like here is okay, but running out here too much, I find the grip level just goes away too drastically and it won't let the car really turn in all that well. But for the most part, I mean, I really like our line through here. I like how late we carry the speed into the corner and then we're on the gas and we come out really well. So I think we're really kind of nailing turn 3 as much as we can. It's one of those corners you'll always feel like you can go a little bit faster, but I think we're doing an exceptional job through there. Fantastic, right? So now as we're carrying a little bit more speed into 4, we'll start to be able to, you'll get used to it and we'll start looking ahead a bit more. So from this point on, we'll pretty much know, okay, once I clip here, I'm going to be able to make the exit. So from this point, I'm going to be, from here, crossing this line, I'm going to be so solid into the gas that I'm really going to use all the road. So just once we're carrying this kind of speed, that's where we shift our focus a little bit more. So we've got a lot of rotation in the car, which is great. Then we don't have to use as much exit. what you'll find is that once we're looking down the road a little bit more, we're then able to really maximize that exit speed. Yeah, and then into 5 here, I mean, we just waited a little bit long before we got it into the apex. So we kind of late apex this a little bit, and like you say, that doesn't allow us to maximize our exit. We want to come in here and kind of hold it a little bit. So we want to come in here a little bit shallower than most corners, just to kind of get into the camber, get into the sort of fishbowl type of corner that it is. And then just from there, we just kind of hold the apex just for a beat. So we just hold it so that the car continues to rotate, and then we can accelerate out. And that's really going to allow us to really be predictable as to how much road we use on exit, maximize our exit speed up the hill, which is massively crucial. And we're always going to consistently get it in, because it's one of those corners that we could carry a lot of speed in, but we do need to get in a little bit early. And then as we're getting in there, we'll feel, initially the car maybe doesn't want to hold, but then we'll feel the car hold. And that's when we can, once we feel that, that's when we can get back to power. So just try to get in here a little bit earlier. Doing the late apex, the issue is it always ends up how it ended up on this lap, where we then come past the apex and we're like nowhere coming out of the corner. We're like basically on the inside of the track, with the way that the corner kind of opens up from it doesn't open from the half point on, it opens from about the 3/4 point on. So we want to kind of maximize that by getting it in there and just holding it for a touch. But the speed we're carrying is really, really good. Really good. Awesome through here. So really awesome. I mean, now what we're going to do is just kind of, we're now going to, let's say, shorten the time between, this braking event and this apex. Now we're just going to shorten this distance by keeping our speed at the apex and our speed at exit the same, and just trying to compress what we're doing a little bit more. Okay. I think we're doing a fantastic job through here. Now we just want to kind of cramp it all in a little bit more so that we're using less time in doing so. But like the way that you kind of ease it in and kind of coast it in a little bit, for sure, that's the way. Without a doubt, that's the way. We need to have the car underneath us when we come into the compression. That's really what's going to allow us to get the most speed out of the corner and up the hill. And then awesome up the hill, awesome into the braking. We get into the apex super, super well, and we come out of the corkscrew super well. We're accelerating super hard. Everything just really awesome through the corkscrew. Really, really awesome. Through here down into 9, really good. The way that we delay, and we kind of keep it pretty shallow and in that sort of groove, that bottom groove of the track. We keep it in there, which is really, really nice. And then finally the car starts to turn as we hit sort of the middle compression coming down the hill. So I think we're crushing 9. I think we're really, really good through here. Really quick out. Really good through 10. Again, it's just kind of like 6 here a little bit, where we just kind of want to compress now because we're doing everything right. So now the next step is really compressing our time from getting off the throttle to getting on the throttle. And because we can't get on the throttle before the apex, what that means is trying to just bring it in deeper and deeper. That's where the time is now. There's no time in really our fundamentals. So now we're just trying to compress the point from where we decelerate to where we accelerate. And the more that we can do that, that's where it becomes harder and harder. That's where we can really perfect everything. But great line through here, hit the apex. Again, a corner that we can be looking ahead and we want to be using all the road. So we just want to be looking down the road. As we start to turn in and get to the apex, that's where we're kind of already sighting where our exit point is. We know we're going to hit the apex. We sighted it before we turned in. So we turned in, we can click off our apex as something that we've already sighted and we're driving to. And then now we're focused on the exit point. And so as we start to come into the apex, you know, our focal point on the exit, which is kind of where we're scribing the line in our mind, that's where we want to aim to next. And that's what allows us to really, you know, get on the power and use all the road, but also to know, you know, how aggressively we can get on the power. And if we can just get right back flat to the throttle, then maybe we need to carry a bit more speed to make that a little bit more difficult. And then good here. A big thing I will say, and everybody tries it here, they try to really go in the braking as deep as possible. For sure, again, really the only thing we care about is from this point on, we care about our exit. So we want to get the car woed up enough that we're not really having to fight it into the apex. We just want to get the car woed up enough that when we turn in and the car starts to rotate, we're already looking down the road and we can be very predictable on when we get back to throttle. We don't want to like drive it in too deep here and cause the car to understeer a little bit. We want to try to get the car stopped a little bit more in a straight line. So here's one place where we don't necessarily want to carry the speed right into the apex. We want to get the car woed up a little bit before, just so that we can get it rotated and extend our straight. So we obviously want to be, from the point we get on the throttle, we want to be at basically full throttle from that point all the way to our braking zone. So we want to elongate that as much as possible, as much time on full throttle. You know, so I think really as a whole, and we use all the road on exit, as a whole, I mean, it's such a tremendous lap. So you did a really great job. We basically ticked off all the things that we were looking at before. Your analysis of the lap was very good as well. Now we're just tweaking, right? Now, realistically, we're trying to find the smallest amounts of time rather than big amounts of time. Really well-driven lap. All the fundamentals are there. We're on power at the right point. We're carrying in a lot of speed. That's forcing us to get on power late, which is what we want to see. So really, really just an absolutely awesome job. But, you know, now it's just fine tuning it and being able to repeat it. So once we start repeating it, that's where you'll find kind of the next step of time is we'll be consistent. You know, we're clicking each corner off properly. So when we start to string our laps together, they just slightly start to improve. And that's the way that we find the next, you know, half a second or a second. But really, I don't think we're leaving all that much on the table. So really, really well done. Awesome job.